In Vietnam, the veteran general who masterminded military victories over France and the United States has died. Nguyen Giap was 102 years old. He was known as Red Napoleon, and his defeat of more sophisticated French forces at Dien Bien Phu ended colonial rule in 1954. He was also the commander of Vietnamese forces during the war against the United States. Well, Ray McGovern is a former CIA analyst who focused on Vietnam, joins us now from Washington, D.C. Good to have you on the program. It's fair to say that General Giap was badly underestimated by French and US forces, wasn't he? Why was he such a challenge for them?
Well, it was a combination on Washington's part of, I'd say, hubris tinged with racism. We heard a lot in those days about the patter of little naked feet going through the Ho Chi Minh Trail, where B-52 technology would surely intimidate them and cause them to give up. The only thing that is true about history is that no one learns from it. People did not know in Washington, at least at the higher levels, that the Vietnamese were intensely nationalist first, anti-colonialist second, and communist third. They had stood up to the Chinese, to the Japanese, to the French. What made the U.S. think that they could kill enough of them to make them subdued and give the folks in Saigon the country? It was really an irrational thing born of hubris, with an intimidating president, Lyndon Johnson, who really took the Eastern establishment, the intellectuals, and sort of twisted them around because he didn't want to be the first American president to lose a war, and so he became the first American president to lose a war.
And of course, General Giap was North of Vietnam's defense minister during the Tet Offensive against US forces. That was in 1968. Now, he wasn't directly commanding forces then, but it was his masterminding that led to America's withdrawal.
Yeah, it was a combination. Again, he was a remarkable commander, but General Westmoreland, our commander in Saigon, deliberately, criminally I would say, underestimated or understated really the number of the enemy he faced in the South. He said it could not be above 299,000. Does that sound a little suspicious to you? Does it sound like 1,429 people killed by chemical attacks? The precision itself gives it away. We knew, that is, the CIA analysts knew, that there were twice that. 600,000 Vietnamese communists under arms, and our superiors caved to the Rostows, the McGeorge Bundys, the Bill Bundys, and the LBJs of this world, wouldn't tell them the truth, and so there was the debacle at Tet in January and February of 1968, where the supposed 299,000, really 600,000, attacked every principal city, town, and hamlet in the South and caused irreparable damage.
US Senator John McCain has described him as a brilliant military strategist. Why was he so brilliant?
Well, he trained under the best. Ho Chi Minh, Mao Zedong. He went to the south of China to get up on how you do a guerrilla war. He had no formal military training. But you know, there was another thing. The French captured his wife, and she died in prison while he was in southern China. So he had this personal experience of innocent suffering very close to him. That motivates a man. That makes a man not give up under extraordinarily tough circumstances, even when, as we probably know, since former Secretary of Defense McNamara has admitted, 3 million, I say again, 3 million Vietnamese perished during that war.
He was clearly extremely high profile at that time. He gained the nickname Red Napoleon. But in later years, he was sidelined by the regime, wasn't he? Why?
Well, you know, old soldiers never die. They sort of fade away. He had his fame after the offensive concluded successfully. It's a matter of normality that he would be succeeded and superseded by the next fellows to come along. He was always honored, though, and he lived to be 102 in considerable honor. So he deserves the respect that the Vietnamese give him. And, you know, John McCain may say what he likes. I'm a little prejudiced because I'm an Army officer. I don't know how John McCain knows too much about General Giap.
Well, 102, not a bad age for an old soldier. Ray McGovern, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Ray McGovern there in Washington, D.C.
You're most welcome. Mm-hmm.